Let's take a quick look now at our big focus story this evening. Should public access continue to be allowed to army cantonments? It's a big debate in this country. Many in the armed forces community say that you just cannot open up cantonments to the public. Why? Because of several reasons. Joining us to debate this, Preeti Bhardia. Preeti is a very special guest. She heads a Facebook group with thousands of spouses of armed forces personnel. She is the wife of an armed forces and army officer herself. KTS Tulsi, the senior advocate of the Supreme Court, joins us from Manali. Pradeep Bhandari with us in the studio, and Air Marshal Manmohan Bahadur joins us as well. Preeti, let me come to you first. There are a lot of people who welcome this move. They say that, look, ultimately this is one India. You can't have cantonments for some people when there are such good roads over there. Everybody should be allowed access. How would you respond?
Yeah. First, I would like to thank NDTV for inviting me to share my views as a Fauji wife. See, first let me clear it. It is not a civilian versus armed forces or defense move. It is a national security threat. By opening cantonments, you are opening our homes. We can be dragged, we can be stalked. Matlab, there are n number of scenarios which can happen with us. We are now sitting like a soft targets, open, matlab like a ducks. Okay, come attack us. We are open. There is no security to us. Our counterparts, they are fighting in field. Many families, they are staying in separate family accommodations. Their husbands are in field. Who will protect them? Who will protect me?
But you are being protected in cantonments. There are
till now
guards,
we are being protected, but now Cantts are
protection.
Yeah, there
that
was
is not being
always
removed.
been.
It's just others are being allowed in.
All are being allowed in. Before
yes.
Also cantonment. It was not like कि no person is been कोई आ नहीं सकता है cantonment में या वो. It was like कि okay, you have a ID, you have a pass, you can enter the cantonment. We have. Okay, we know who all are entering, who are not entering, but right now it is a thoroughfare. Just tell me one thing, from past 70-80 years, cantonments has been as a gated community, a closed one, right? Am I right or am I wrong? It was a gated community. Abhi suddenly what has changed? Are the scenarios changed? जो problems पहले थी अब नहीं है. अगर ऐसा है तो ठीक है, बॉर्डर भी खोल दीजिए, सारे वीवीआईपी रोड्स खोल दीजिए.
Okay, let me just try and get another perspective on this. Mr. Tulsi, do you accept that this is a security issue for the families of officers and men and women who who are there in cantonments? That is the reason cantonments should be shut, or do you believe, sir, that public access should continue?
No. The question is, you can't compare every cantonment with Jammu or Pathankot. This is an urban issue. Even Agra will have a cantonment, Lucknow will have cantonment. Those are not to be compared with extreme examples of hostility which has been noticed by places which were right on the border. But nevertheless, we need to understand that cantonments, the cities have caught up with the cantonments, and cantonments now are almost in the middle of the city, and the city has got to be better utilized. We need to understand that the growth is the rural population is almost stopped, and the growth is now doubled.
Yes.
In the increase of population in the urban areas. In urban areas already 32.4% the population.
Okay, I take the point. Mr. Tulsi, that you're trying to make about urban populations going up. I'll come to you, Pradeep, in one moment. I want to go across to Air Marshal Manmohan Bahadur. Air Marshal, I think I personally believe a stronger point is this. Cantonments are not just places where families live. Cantonments, wherever they are, also have extremely sensitive facilities. For example, they have facilities, they have armories, they've got ordnance depots, they've got centers which where technical systems are actually fixed, repaired, base repair depots, and these are sensitive, right? And therefore the worry is if people actually enter, they can take photographs of this, and therefore there is a security concern from that standpoint. Is this perhaps in your mind the real concern here?
That certainly is a point, but if I can just step back to the points raised earlier. It is not that the roads in cantonments are closed to others. There are certain roads, certain areas which are regulated. You show your I-card, you show an identity proof, and you can go in. Even I have to do that when I go there. That's one part. Secondly, there is a certain amount of exclusivity when it comes to the armed forces. In any country, the armed forces are placed on a certain pedestal. Now, it is not a question of having, nose up in the air, no, but there is a certain exclusivity. Thirdly, I have been in field areas where my wife and daughters staying back in the peace station, not as much as an army officer or their families have to see the separation, but I have faced it in Leh. But whenever I went and flew in the glacier, 2.5 years, I didn't have to worry about the safety of my wife and daughters. They were there in an Air Force station, slightly different from, because that's a military station. But the basic fact is that the surety and the mind is so much at peace that the home end is safe and secure. If everything is opened up to the public, then there are issues that come up. Tell me, can you go into a gated community in Hauz Khas? Can you go into the Moti Bagh enclave, which is there now for the bureaucrats and the judges and all those?
But those, right in the heart Air Marshal, most respectfully, those are private gated compounds. This is taxpayers' money, and the argument being made is that it's, and as far as exclusivity is concerned, I'm not sure how many people would accept that point. There is incredible respect for the armed forces in our country, but I'm not sure the moment you use the word exclusive, which some people would say is, we are better than you, hence don't come to the place where we live, that would be acceptable. I'm not sure, Air Marshal, whether you can say there is an exclusivity attached. There is respect which is attached, not exclusivity.
No, I'm not saying that.
No, those were your words, sir. Air Marshal, those were your words.
I know that.
I agree with all your points, but this one point.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, Pradeep, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, I get back to your question.
One second, Air Marshal.
Which is regarding the safety and security.
We'll get back to that. Pradeep has a point.
20 seconds of point. Let's understand that protecting the soldier is equally as important as protecting the families of the soldiers. Now, the concept of a cantonment is that it is a prohibited zone. It has higher level of restrictions so that the families and the soldier can work, especially the soldier can work efficiently on the border, and the families can feel secured. Because let me give you, I have come from Mahu, right? So Mahu is one of the cantonment areas, and we've seen cases of a lot of illegal encroachment around the cantonment areas, and because cantonment is a higher degree restricted zone, so that is where the level of I would say security is more, safety is more. So it is nothing to do with exclusivity. Also, a principal point is that a bunch of bureaucrats sitting in Defense Ministry, some of them have not cleared the SSB exams, cannot decide what the army can do or cannot do. You leave it, if you believe that a cantonment can be open or should be open, leave it to the local military officer. Take his consent, take the consent of majority of families in the cantonment, then only proceed. It cannot be one fit all policy for all the cantonments.